Hey guys, how's it going? Previously on the channel we were working on this 1980 John Deere 212. This is the 212 we were working on in another video. The lift lever on it is stiff, but it moves. The button was seized. We got the button unseized on there. The variator lever also had a seized knob. We got the knob moving and also unstuck. We freed up the choke on it. We did a couple other things on it. We had to go through the fuel pump, fix the fuel pump because the fuel pump was not pumping, carb was cleaned. We changed out the fuel lines, took the fuel tank out, cleaned it, got the engine running. We didn't really have to do a whole lot to it. All we had to do was sand down the points a little bit, and eventually we got spark out of it. And then after we got spark out of it, got the engine running, went through and made sure all the gears in the transmission worked. There was some other stuff I did to it, however, it is not in the previous video you guys saw because, yeah, well, the video ended up being over 2 hours long and I really didn't want it to be 2 hours long, so I cut it in half. So that's what we did in the last video. And then I also went around it, greased it. Oh, we found out it has a bad crank seal. So that's another thing that we've got to address in this video. There's also some other things I wanted to take care of in this video. So let's go on ahead, jump back in time to yesterday, and you guys will get to watch the stuff that I did after we tested the transmission and everything else. And then we will jump back into today, and we will go on ahead and get whatever I want to get done today took care of. So I guess here's where things get fun. I've got the deck all hooked up and everything. This is the adjustment right there that puts more tension on the clutch assembly right there. So what I want to do is I want to start the engine up and we'll engage the deck, and when we engage it we'll see how hard it kicks in. Now it could have some oil behind it, so more than likely it's not going to kick in hard, but let's just see what it does. So I guess let's just go on ahead and see about if these will turn, which they do. Well, one of them does, I should say. That's good. That one won't. That's not even in. Doesn't turn. That doesn't turn. We'll fight them a little bit, I guess. See if we can do it with this. If we can't, we'll try something else. There it goes. Just trying not to break the ends off of it, you know. There we go. Look at that. Cool. Before we do that one, watch this one. That's not going to say anything. I figured it would do that. This isn't even secured to it anymore. Yeah, apparently. There it is, right there. If we keep it there. That's unfortunate with that broke. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get this to. I like how that one came loose pretty easily, and this one's just proving to be what I expected, more or less. Being completely honest with you, that's actually what I wanted right there. So I'll own it a little bit better. One way or another, at this point, it's going to go. Now you get a seat on it. Gotta go at this point. Gotta get it off one way or another. Eh. Watch it end up coming out easy now. Yeah, there it is. It just broke. What I expected. Yeah, you weren't getting that out. Oh well. This side came loose, however. So, there you go. I guess that's good. Set that over there with that stuff. That one basically did what I expected it to do, more or less. I run upstairs, I got a seat. I had found it's not pretty, but it fits the look of the tractor, and you can sit on it. So I'm gonna go grab it and we'll throw it on here. So it's not pretty at all, but here's a seat. It'll work, for what I'm doing at least. So there we go. I can't remember what this came off of. I think it came off of 110 I had a long time ago. It's definitely not pretty, but it should hopefully do the job and be something to sit in for now, till I find something better. And then over there, I need to figure out the put that there while I'm thinking about it. There we go. Now we are secure. I believe now that's the only thing I need to do is hook that, because it is not hooked. Well, actually I have to figure out where this is. Well, I wish that was easier to, there it is. Right there. So now if we can keep it right there. Hopefully now that should fix that problem. So there's one more wire. Not sure where at. This is, oh, it's right there. Look at that. We should be able to hopefully get into that. And you need to have that. The reasoning for that underneath, and I can't just put a nut on the bottom of this bolt, is because the fuel tank. You wouldn't be able to secure it or remove the seat for that matter without taking this fender pan off, which, hell, who wants to do that all the time? Just to change the seat. Not me. And then with the way that this is set up, you loosen that knob up there in the front, you can slide the seat back and forth, because this doesn't clamp down real tight on this. It'll keep it from wobbling around, but that's just about it. Now I tighten that so it doesn't come loose. Tighten this one. That doesn't have a front knob though, so that could be fun. This one up here still does, but I'm not going to over tighten that for well, obvious reasons. Now if I wanted to have this secure that to the fender pan, I could throw a washer, a couple more washers underneath there, and that would work. But there we go. We got it. I would say I'm pretty well content with it how I have it. It's got a cobweb. So there we go, now we have a seat on our little 212. So after our small little time jump, we're back into today. The things I want to get took care of is I want to get that crank seal took care of in the back. I'm still unsure about the flywheel, if I want to take the engine out and do the flywheel side. I should, since I'm already going to be doing the other side. However, it does not show me any signs that it's leaking, so I don't really want to mess with it. Why bother with it if it's not leaking at this point in time? However, I really wouldn't mind pulling the engine out anyway to look underneath that flywheel shroud and make sure there's not any more shit under it. I think we blew everything that was under there out yesterday, so we should be fine in that aspect of things. However, that is still on my mind. All 4 tires still holding air after having this thing now for the last 4 days. So yeah, it seems like it's been okay to me. So let's go on ahead and let's get over there and let's get that seal done. And once we get that seal done, I believe everything is done unless we want to take it and wire up the headlights. But for right now, that's not really something I'm concerned with. So let's go on ahead and get that. Oh, and then I also want to take a look at the lift. So I guess that'll be next. So I guess let's go on ahead and get this crank seal changed. Hopefully this shouldn't be all too hard at all, I wouldn't think. I don't think this engine has ever been touched or messed with, so more than likely the brake is still there, which yes it is. I can see it right there. Look at all the oil. See, it's stuck on there. I just noticed it's actually missing the pulley that goes on the end of it for a snowblower, which I guess that's fine. I don't really need it, but that's a little bit unfortunate. I believe the bolt down here, I can't even get to it. Where is it? Yeah, it's all covered in oil. And I think that the mule drive has to come out. See all that oil and shit down there? Let me go grab a socket and a ratchet. I gotta remember what size that is, and once I do that, we'll get that brake out and we'll get the pulley off. So let's go on ahead and see if we can get this brake out of here. Normally people don't put these back, and to be completely honest with you, I probably won't either. Well, I guess depending on what mood I'm in. They're not exactly the easiest thing to get to at all. They're not the hardest thing though to do, but they're not easy at the same time. If you've had one before and had to take this piece out, you know exactly what it's like. I'm sure. Damn it. And they put them in the 1 and 200 series. Seriously? That, they don't even have to take it. Yeah, you do. I think we still haven't gotten it out, but it came out. And then there's inside of your clutch, as you can see. And then on their pulley, Got your clutch material. It's not all covered in oil and it's not all burned up, which is good. So that needs to come out. Once that comes out, this comes off here. And then the pulley comes off also. Usually that tends to be a pain in the ass to get out of there. If we're lucky, we might be able to get it out of there without any problems. I don't think we'll have to take this back plate off, and if we do, oh well. So let me grab here. Let me grab my ratchet or my impact driver and a socket. We'll get that out of there. Maybe if we're lucky, that'll come off easily. I doubt it. So let's see if we can get this guy to come out here. Battery number 2. Let's see what that does. Ready? I was gonna say, I'd be surprised if that doesn't come out. Oh, okay. I did not expect that. And then we need to go over there and push the clutch pedal to get the belt off. Which of course, we're gonna have to start the engine up so that we can get it to work how I want it. That variator had to go because it was hitting on the idler pulley in the back was hitting on the fender pan. So in order to get it to stop doing that, you have to move this or play with it a little bit. Whoa. That belt has seen some shit. We might want to change that. That's an understatement. Okay. That came off easy. So now I wonder if someone's been in there and they found something wrong. And that's where they sold it. What the hell? Why is that seal back in there so far? Well, there's your seal. It's in quite a ways back. That don't look right. So let's take a look at this. Let's see what we can figure out. There's a seal. It's in there quite a ways back. Why is that in there so far? It should be right here up to this, but instead it's back in there all the way. I think somebody's been in here before and they changed that. But when they changed it, they obviously didn't do it right. So we got to pull that seal out of there. And after we pull that seal, I wish we could get this to stay somewhere out of the way of the camera. And I guess once we change that seal, you guys can't really see that all that well. We can go on ahead and put a new one in there. I do have another one. I don't know if it fits in there or not. It should. And then I know someone's gonna comment, why don't you just try to save that seal? It's no good. Why would I try to save that? So if I can get that out of there. I'm not really sure of a good way to get that, and to be honest with you, I can't hardly see it. I need a light. Let me see if I can find a light. Found a better light. I hope it looks good for the camera. I apologize if it doesn't, but that's what I have and what we're gonna have to work with. So let's see. Damn it. That's better. My face. Trying to get behind it so I can pry on it. Did I get it? I don't think I did. I might have. Oh, I think I did. Yeah, I did. I pulled it a little bit. Not a whole lot. There it is. If I can, yes. Got it. I did. Look at that. Sort of. I kind of got it in a way. So if I can get it somewhere I can get it better. That seal is wore out. I don't know why it's in there so far. I think it's supposed to be closer to the thing here, but maybe I'm wrong. I might want to pick. Let's just see if we can get behind it with one of these. There we go. Got it. I think I got it. I hope I got it. Shit. I can't get on it. I need something to pry it with. This is the perfect tool, I guess. Now, I've seen people drill into them and put screws in them and pull them out that way. It works, but I'm not a fan of that because you get that stuff in here, the shavings and everything from drilling into the seal, which is not what I want to do. And I'm more than likely getting shavings in there the way I'm doing it now. Some moron put it back too far, which I believe is the cause of our issues we're having. Come on. Seriously? Some people just don't know what the hell they're doing. Where's that pick? And of course, I keep blocking my light. And black on black is not easy to see. You know? There we go. We got it. There's our seal. I don't know what damage was done to it by me and what damage was already there, but there's the seal. And then there's your bearing. I mean, it's basically right there. You know, that's why I don't want to drill into it. So I have a couple of seals. I believe they're for these engines. This engine here is a Fuller K301. So with that being said, it's the bigger one. And then the seal goes in there. If you push it back too far, like I said, when you put the new seal in, you want it right up against this point here. You don't want it to go in any further than that, because if you do, you're not on the sealing surface. This is the block right here. It only goes back about an inch. If you push that seal back too far, you're beyond the block, and the seal is basically just sitting on the crankshaft. It's not doing anything. So that's the problem that it was having before. So we're going to try to avoid that problem. So let me go grab the new seal. So over the years of doing this, I've acquired rebuild kits for changing gaskets, and I've bought seals. Here's a seal. I don't remember what it came for. I believe this is the seal that we need, which it actually appears to be too big. Maybe. Wait a minute. Is that too big? I think it is. No. Hold on a minute here. I don't think that is the right seal. I might have to go to that one and look at the number. It might just be the fact that it's got numbers in it. Can't hardly see. That might be part of the reason. There we go. It's going in. Just gotta help it a little bit. That's why. There we go. Yeah. It went. So now I gotta grab something I can use to send it in. So here's a lag bolt the end has been shaved off of. Let's see if we can use this to get this how I want it to be. I'm just trying to get it in here right now. And the pointed side has been shaved off, so I have the nut up against the seal. Sometimes these tend to be a little difficult to get in. There we go. So now I have it how I want it. I'm starting to think this might have been a little too small. But, or a little too big, I mean. But if we can get it to work, then I'll be happy. To be fair, it was just one I pulled out of my drawer. I don't know what it came with. Is it gonna work though is the big question. If it does, well, I'll leave this in the video. If it doesn't, well then, I guess it didn't make it. So now we just gotta figure out this part on the bottom. This could have easily been avoided if I just had the right tool. So now it's in flat, almost. There we go. I think we've got it in about as flat as we're going to get it at this point. I don't really think I can get it in any more. Out all that much, but that's how I want it. I want it to be even with this, which it is. Right here it kind of bows in a little bit. However, there's not really much I can do about that unless I put it in just a little further. But it's in. It should be alright. So, but yeah, there we go. Let's go on ahead and crank the engine, make sure that seal doesn't spin with it, and yeah. I don't see anything leaking. I don't want to lose that key, so that's why I went ahead and shut it off. So I think we should be all right, and we should be able to go on ahead and put everything back together, change the oil in the engine, and yeah. So you guys already watched me take it apart, so I think what I'm going to do is go on ahead and put everything back together, and once I get everything put back together, I'll bring the camera back, and we'll start it up, make sure it doesn't leak. If it doesn't leak, we'll change the oil out, and once we change the oil out, we should be good to go. So here's an update. I got the stuff all put back together on that 212, and I put the PTO back on it, and I also did the oil. So I added some oil to it. I haven't changed it yet. I'm waiting to do that until this thing proves itself worthy of an oil change. So with that being said, I want to go on ahead and check it. It's in the hash marks. So with that being said, it should be fine. I do want to check it again, just to check myself and make sure that it's good. Which that it is. This time don't throw the fucking dipstick away. Let's try that again, shall we? It is in the hash marks, so it should be ready to go. Yeah. See it leaking anywhere, so okay, I think we got it fixed. So let me throw my coat on real quick because it's cold out, and I guess we'll run it up and down the driveway, and we'll bring it back, and we'll see if any oil leaks start. we've got us a little stowaway, Mr. Caterpillar. He's alive. I saw him move earlier. I was trying to get him to curl up into a little ball. We'll harass him a little bit. Yeah, see, he's moving along. Hurt him. I saw his head move a little bit. You guys probably see him better than I do. But yeah, he's moving around a little bit. He might just be cold. Yeah. Mr. Caterpillar, he was in here. I think he came out of that 212. He was running around it yesterday. I'm surprised he's still in here. Ran it up and down the driveway after putting that new seal in there. Drove it around some, as you guys saw out around the shop. No leaks. So I would say this thing has earned itself an oil change. So we're going to go on ahead and give it an oil change. The other issue, this is popping out now. So we're going to have to do something about that. It'll thread on there, yeah, but it just pops off out of nowhere. So we're kind of screwed. So I kind of expected that to happen. So, oh well. So now that this tractor no longer has Ford disorder, let's go on ahead and get the oil drained out of it. And when I say Ford disorder, it has one of those on it. I mean the marking its territory deal it does, because it seems like all Fords do it. And you cannot deny that if you own a Ford. I know somebody who's had a couple, and all of them that he's had have pissed all over my pad. My neighbor had one, and he said the exact same thing about it. You absolutely cannot deny that. That claim is true. Not trying to harp on him or nothing, but just saying. So let's see. This has one of the, I'm not a huge fan of this setup on the bottom of these engines. However, some of them have them, some of them work. This one actually works, and it's draining the oil, which is pretty nice. So I'm gonna let that drain, and once that's done draining, I will bring the camera back and we'll take a look at the oil. I see quite a bit of metal in what I see so far, however. That's always what you want. So I'm sitting here looking at the oil that came out of this 212. Look at, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera. It looks like you can see it. But take a look at all the metal in that. I'm starting to wonder if that's metal or if that's water. But you take a look at it, as you can see, it's got quite a bit of a rainbow to it. That's not what you want to see at all. So it makes me ask the question, is there water in it? It's also got a little bit of a grayish tint to it. Looks a little bit milky, hard to say. Oh, well, look at that. That answers all your questions. And I'd say it's got a little bit of water in it. Might even be metal, I don't know. It's a little bit thin, so yeah. That would explain the little knock that I was hearing. But I was adding oil to it to try to keep it from burning it all up, or trying to keep it from leaking it all out. But now I see that. That explains a little bit. I thought that still could be metal. So I'm gonna put some new oil in it, and once I put new oil in that engine, we'll go on ahead and start it back up, see how it sounds, see how it runs. So if you've been around the channel for a while, you probably know I'm a big fan of Diesel Creek. I don't talk about him a whole lot, but I've talked about him in the past. One of my favorite channels to watch on YouTube. He talks about Shell Rotella. He likes Shell Rotella oil. They make really good oil. I like them. I'm a big fan of them. I've been using them not quite ever since I started working on these tractors. However, pretty close to when I started working on these tractors, I started using Shell Rotella. It's a good oil. It's got zinc in it and all the other stuff that these engines need. If you've watched him before, you've probably heard that speech before. It is true. It is good for them. I run a little bit heavier oil than what I should. In my engines, I run 1540 diesel oil. Now there's a lot of people out there that are gonna say that's not good, but however, it's better to run a thicker oil, especially in an older engine like this, because as the engine wears more, the rings start to wear out and the gap gets a little bit bigger, and having a little bit thicker of an oil in there helps. And also, I tried straight 30. I've tried straight 30, I've tried 10W30, and they just seem way too thin to me, and they don't seem to do all that well. So I've went up to this stuff, and this works pretty good. This is heavy duty diesel oil, so we'll stick that in there. Now when it's cold outside, you do want to let the engine warm up for a little bit. That part I will stress. You do want to let your engine warm up before you start working it if you're running thicker oil in it. And then once the engine's, especially in the cold, but you want to let stuff warm up before you start using it heavily anyways. So that should be common sense. But like I said, let the engine warm up. I haven't had a problem since I started using that stuff, and it does pretty good. I can't really complain. These engines take about a quart. Some of them, if you have the newer engines with the deeper oil pan, they tend to take 2 quarts. I think the ones with the other style take about a quart and a half, I think, if I remember right. This engine has the bigger oil pan under it, so I'm going to say it should take, I believe it would take 2 quarts to fill this little monster. These are good engines, these old K-Series, I like them, I swear by them. They also used on the older 100 series, the 112s, both round fender and square fender. John Deere used the Tecumseh engines, the HH100. A lot of people swear by them. I swear at them. They are one of the worst engines you can possibly get. You will not change my mind. If you've been watching this channel, you have seen the experiences I've had with them. I hate them. I don't use them on anything. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that will agree with me. I have met people that agree with me on that. And other YouTube channels I watch agree with me on that. So yeah, there you go. Still nothing on the stick. We're still empty. Now the opening on there is big enough you don't really need a funnel, but I don't like spilling oil because oil is not cheap anymore, so. And if you're trying to get the cheapest oil possible, your engine's not going to last. So, just saying. Oil is not something to cheap out on. It's not something I cheap out on. I tend to get good oil because, well, obvious reasons. I want my stuff to last. And to be completely honest with you, this machine should outlast me. And I'm not joking when I say that either. And we are actually, wow, I guessed that about perfect. We are right on the full mark. I'll be damned, we're right on the full mark. So I would say we are good. So let me put this over here, and we'll fire the engine up, listen to it, and see how it runs. Hopefully, it should run perfect. First run after the oil change. sure if that's inside the engine or if that's something on the outside hitting. I know that was pretty common with these. They would shake around a lot. As you can see, this one is shaking quite a bit right now. So, no oil leaks. That's good. So, yeah. Oh no. I guess we'll take it up and down the driveway once and, yeah. So after taking the tractor around and driving it around some after putting that new oil in it, I would say I definitely notice a difference. It does sound like it's running a lot better, and I don't notice hardly as much of a knock as I did before. It had a little bit of a tick to it, which is kind of normal on some engines, but after I changed the oil in it and it drove around some, the tick went away. So I would say that's a plus. It's got quite a mist to it, which I'm starting to wonder about that. I'm thinking that might just maybe be the carb needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I'm not horribly worried about it, but I will keep it in mind, the fact that it misses as much as it does. So, not really much to complain about on it. One thing I wish I would have done with it when I had the top off, the fenders off of it, was check the rock shaft, because it's kind of stiff to move. And I don't, if I remember right, on the 200 series, there's no grease zerks under there to get or grease the rock shaft for the deck height or the lift and lower the deck, which is unfortunate. However, I know on the 100 series there is. I don't think there is on the 200 series. I think with the 200 series, you're basically screwed. I'm not a huge fan of these, to be honest with you. I like the 100s better. Yeah, as I feel around under here, yeah, there's no grease points anywhere on that. I didn't think there were. So that kind of sucks. In order to grease that, you got to pull that rock shaft out or drill holes in it, which I really don't want to do. So we'll leave that be for right now. Maybe getting some use out of it will help it, or throw some oil at it and see if oiling it up some helps it, or maybe it's not even in that assembly. Maybe it's in the lever. No, it can't be in the lever. Yeah, it's in that. I think it's in the assembly down below. I don't think it's in that lever. You know, I wonder if did somebody put a bolt in that instead of a something? No. What's it here? No. Other than the pins. So that rolls that out. I was thinking maybe they put a bolt in there and over tightened it, causing it not to. Yeah, there's no grease zerks in this anywhere. I find that really interesting. I wonder why they didn't put grease zerks in these. Beats me. I don't know. I was thinking maybe somebody put a bolt down there on one of the linkages, bolt and a nut, and over tightened it, and it was causing drag. but no, that's not the case. I believe I do have another spring, however, so I can swap the spring out in that lift lever and we can get that to go up and down. I don't know about the variator lever though. I'm gonna have to pull that variator lever off in order to change that linkage out since that button came off. So that could be fun. Let me run up front and check that button real fast, if I do have another one or not. If I do, I'll grab the spring. We'll throw the spring on here and cool. Well, I have good news. I ran up front and I checked a parts tractor I had. I have a spring. Nice. So we can go on ahead, change this. I'm not sure where those two washers came from. There was a washer on top of the linkage, or on top of the spring in that one. I'm not sure if that's what it was for, or it may have been stuck on there on top of the spring to add maybe some space to it. Don't know. But it was in there. Actually, right there's our spring. So maybe it'll come out without dropping the linkage. That would be nice. There we go. Come on. There. Actually, that spring looks just fine. Yeah, that spring looks just fine. Maybe it's just a little bit weak. Don't know. I've already got it out, so I'm going to change it anyways. And also, while I'm in there, I'm going to throw these two washers at it. And hope that that linkage doesn't go down, which I think it did. Yeah, it did. I thought so. This might be fun. Wonder if I should have put them. Sometimes these are fun, but usually, if to me, they're not. Being fun was a joke, by the way. And if you've been stuck doing these before, you probably agree with me. You know, I just realized something. Why am I putting those on top? And I could very well put them on the bottom. I'm trying to keep those springs separated so I don't screw up and put the wrong one back in. Stuck. Let's try this, shall we? So we'll put our little washers in. We'll push them down. Damn it. Set down our linkage. Helps to have a second person, or a way to lock that in place, which is something I don't have. Well, neither thing is something I have, unfortunately. Let's try this. That's not what I wanted to do, but it worked. That's not what I wanted to do again. I don't know. So I got that button back in there. Now one thing I also did is off the parts tractor, I sourced this and that. This is for the variator. This is for this because this one is pretty rough and it's cracked. So I want to get that off of there if we can, after it being on there for close to 30 years, 40 years. It's pretty fun to get off. So let's see if we can. Got it. So now we'll take that and we'll replace it with this. Wait a minute. No, I have it right. That one feels like it's cracked. Yeah, it probably is. But there we go. That one looks better. Yeah, it's got a crack going down the center of it, but it looks okay. I'm not going to complain. So here's the one for the variator. So yeah, let's get that one stuck on there next. So let's see. I believe that is the... There we go. There we go. Cool. So now we have both grips. Cool. So I think now we need to source a set of side panels for it, which I think I might have. However, I'm gonna hold off on that for now because I don't really think it needs side panels at the moment. But yeah, there you go. Here's another thing that we need to change because there's no threads left in that one. This one's not as pretty, but it's got threads in it still. I'd like to be able to have something on here I can grip on that is not going to fly off when I'm trying to shift gears. Perfect. And also, unlike this one, that one actually says where the gear positions are, which is pretty cool. So before I close out the video, I got a question for all of you. If you've been around this channel now for the past, I don't want to say how many years because I will feel old. For, God, I want to say almost 6 years ago. I had a 1986 John Deere 212. It was actually the first tractor I had ever bought. I bought that tractor when I was 16 years old. Damn. I bought it off of my neighbor. It was what he used to mow his yard there for a while. No, wait a minute. Was I sick? Yeah, I would have been 16 or 17 when I bought that tractor. And I bought it off a neighbor. He used it to mow his yard, and then he ended up getting a newer one, and he sold me that 212. We brought it over here. I made some videos on it. This was kind of back when I was getting into YouTube. At the time, I didn't really like to talk on camera well because I wasn't exactly the greatest. I've gotten a little bit better over the years, but this is something I don't talk about on camera. I have undiagnosed, well, I think I do anyways, and other people I talk to have said it, I think I have undiagnosed ADHD or autism. And I used to be pretty bad, I guess, back when I was younger. I've gotten better as it goes, but at the same time, it's still there. But I've learned to control it a little bit better over the years of doing it. And I have faked really well not having it, it seems. I've cut a lot of stuff out of videos, but it's starting to show more and more, I think. So I'm just gonna go on ahead and go out about it now. But when I was 16, I bought that tractor and I had that one for a while. There's a few differences between this one and that one. This one is a manual PTO. That one was an electric PTO. That one also had the snap ring on the front wheels instead of the bolt like what this one has. As you can see, this one has bolts on the front of it where that one had the snap ring, kind of like my 86 216 does. And it was also an 86 where this one's an 80. This tractor, I've been sitting here looking at it ever since I got it, and it reminds me so much of that 212 I used to have. The paint looks just like it, the hood looks just like it, all except for on that one it had a little scratch up near the top, where this one, the side of it's kind of screwed up. I mean, this thing looks almost identical to it paint-wise. That tractor was all original. This tractor, I believe, is all original. I'm not gonna say it is, however, to me it looks all original, and from what I have seen, I believe I am correct. So, let me know what you guys think about it. I might do a comparison picture, or here, I'll put a picture up of that tractor on screen, and you guys can look at it. I actually think I have one. I gotta find out all the spots I had it and compare it with this one, because I filmed that one in this same building. But yeah, I was in high school when I bought that tractor. I was young. So yeah, there you go. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it's your first time checking out the channel, please consider going down below, hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It tells YouTube that you guys like the videos and want to see more. It also tells me that you guys like the videos and want to see more. I would really appreciate it if you'd like the video and leave me a comment. I see a lot of views on the videos, but I hardly get any comments, and I hardly ever get any thumbs ups on the video, so I would really appreciate that. I like reading comments. I do reply to them. Sometimes I see them and sometimes I don't. If I don't see your comment on a video, go over to the next video I upload and leave me another comment, and more than likely I will end up seeing it. YouTube usually sends me notifications when people comment on videos. However, I sometimes don't see it, or I see it and forget to go back and look. So if that's happened to you, I do apologize about that. But yeah, I do reply to most of them. So yeah, there you go. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch hopefully all of you in the next video. Take care guys.